I drilled right through the backing block there and into the bridge deck. Recall from last time that I had lost the wooden wedge I use to insert between the anchor and the roller to keep the anchor from moving around while I'm sailing offshore. Now I'd lost that one overboard, so I constructed a new one out of part of an old cutting board. However, it's not quite thick enough and the anchor's still rattling around. So now I decide to tackle version 2.0, which is to cut the wedge in half and then insert each piece on either side of the anchor shank. Hopefully that'll fill up enough of the gap and keep it wedged securely enough so the anchor's not going to rattle around while I'm sailing. Well, I have to say I'm pleased with the self-steering wind vane. I mean, I was worried that it's, and I think it is, it's starting to get some friction. The last time I greased it was in Miami. Because anywhere north of there, well, I wouldn't have gone swimming in Fernandina Beach. That water was gross. And the bite, it's too cold. Well, it's too cold for me. I think it's too cold unless you have a wetsuit or you're a polar bear. Anyway, it's steering pretty well. I mean, we're deep, broad reach and light airs. And off the wind and light airs is problematic for most wind vanes because you don't have much wind to begin with. And then the fact that you're steering off the wind, you know, on a broad reach or broad reach downwind, is that you're subtracting the apparent wind. The apparent wind is the true wind, and then you're subtracting off the speed you're making. So what that all means is generally you have very little apparent wind. So just any kind of friction gets in there and your wind vane's not going to be able to steer. As I pointed out earlier, is to put a reef in the main. And I have the staysail and the Yankee. So try to move your sail plan further forward so it's kind of towing the boat. Helps with the balance. Hi everyone. It is early morning on Monday, the 16th of May, 2022. And we're approximately 39 north and 73 west. We're still just kind of poking along. We've got light south to southwest winds, and we've had these winds all night. Pretty much just like this, kind of about 6 to 8 knots true wind strength. We've been doing about 3 knots, so we covered about 30 miles last night. And absolute pea soup fog. It was so dense. I mean, you can see your nav lights. I mean, you can just see the mist blowing right past your nav lights. It was so thick. So that was something. And the fog finally lifted early this morning. And so finally we got visibility again. Got about 180 miles left to run. So we're this has not exactly been a fast trip. And sure could have used that drifter. So this trip was an argument for buying a drifter for this boat. Other than that, I got reasonably good sleep last night. Only got woken up twice by the AIS alarm. A couple of big ships going by. And it's nice to know where they are, because boy, you sure can hear their foghorns going. It's loud. And if you don't know, you can't see where they are. When you can't see where they are, it's really scary. Because you got these big ships moving, and you don't know whether they're coming at you or not. So, but the AIS can tell you that, you know, you'll clear, that you're going to clear by at least 3/4 of a mile or so, and so forth. So, I think the next step is that I have to get an AIS transponder. And if you're pinging on AIS, then you're visible. It just makes you much more visible. So, anyway, I'm gonna get on with breakfast here. Well, from the weather forecasts I'm able to get, it sounds like these winds are going to pick up later on this afternoon. So I'm going to take in the Yankee, unhank it off the jib stay and bag it. It's a lot easier working out on that bowsprit when it's like this than when it's blowing 25 knots.
Now when I was a little boy, so my mother told me, Timmy, hey, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. That if I didn't kiss the girls, my lips would grow all moldy. Timmy, hey, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Up, hey, haul away, that good ship now is rolling. Timmy, hey, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Now we got 20 to 25 knots. At least the direction's good. We're moving along. But, I mean, is it too much to ask just to get a period of 10 to 15 knots? Apparently, you either get no wind or you get a little more wind than you'd like. So I just went through a whole round of reefing drills there. Reefed the staysail, put a second reef in the main, did some housekeeping. I just put a third reef in the main. The cold front's going over us now, and I see some thunder. Well, I see some lightning. And also these winds are about 25 knots now, so it really eases up the balance to put 3 reefs in. And plus, then we just have a small main up. So if it looks like any kind of squalls, I'll just I'll get that reef staysail down pronto. And hopefully whatever hits us with just the triple reef main up is not going to hurt us. Ahoy everybody! It is! Ahoy everybody! It is Tuesday the 17th of May 2022. It's about 3 in the afternoon. And we are approximately 20 miles south-southeast of Montauk Point, which is the easternmost point of Long Island, New York. We got southwest winds around 20 knots, so we finally got some wind. Now, as far as where we're going to land, there's several options here. If I can make, if I can make Block Island before nightfall, I'll go into Block Island. From where we're at, it's about a little over 30 miles to Block Island. So that's right on the border. That'll probably be between 8 and 9 this evening if the wind holds. Block Island's a bit of a tricky entrance there, so I don't want to attempt that at night. So then the second option is to carry on past Block Island and go to Point Judith, which is not too much further. Point Judith is about another 10 miles. So if we can make, say, Block Island by 10, we could probably, assuming the wind holds, we could make Point Judith by midnight. There's not much there in Point Judith. You just anchor behind the big breakwall to harbor Refuge. So it's not the most scenic anchorage, but it's a place you can just get a hook down for the night. And if it looks like I can get in there before midnight, I'll probably do that. Just so I can get an anchor down and get a halfway decent night's sleep, rather than pushing on to Tarpaulin Cove or Vineyard Haven. So once I get in closer, I get in cell phone range, I'll get some grips, take a look at the weather, and that'll give me a bit better idea of what my plan's going to be. So right now, I'm thinking probably I'm not going to be able to make Block Island before nightfall. I mean, we're barreling along here, but I don't think we're going to quite be able to close the distance. So it's looking like probably Point Judith, and I can navigate my way in there at night. That's not too difficult. So anyway, well, we had just a fun night last night. That front went through, thunder, lightning, showers, not heavy rain, but you know, about 2 hours of kind of a constant light rain, drizzle, gusty winds. You know the drill. Well, this passage is not over yet, but we're getting down to the end of it now. And it's been thus far. It's been the adventure. Yeah, getting into this slop here. Between Montauk and Block Island. According to OpenCPN, the ebbing current should go slack in about half an hour. That's what's causing all this slop, is the ebbing current that's going against the wind. So you're getting these steep waves that are really knocking us around here. There's Block Island. See it just right under the boom there. We got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of daylight left, probably an hour and a half of light, so we might be able to make it into Block Island. But I'm thinking I'm not going to chance it, because it's kind of a narrow entrance in there, and with a westerly wind, the entrance is on the windward side of the island. And I have sailed in and out of there before some years ago, but I'm thinking at this stage in the game, I don't want to chance that. So I think I'm going to push on to Point Judith. It's about another 12 miles. So I won't be in there until after dark. But Point Judith is a pretty easy. You just have to get inside the break wall there. And the entrance in there is pretty, the cuts in the break wall are pretty wide. And then once you're inside, it's a pretty large area. It's a very easy anchorage. There's plenty of room. So I think that's the plan, is to push on to Point Judith, and hopefully the wind will hold. Hopefully the seas will get a little flatter. And with some luck, we'll be there. We'll be in Point Judith by midnight. So, with some luck.